Welcome back, everyone. This is Attunement podcast number 16. You may notice my voice is destroyed. That's because this is day 5 of summer camp, and I'm at counselor orientation, and I was a pirate last night. My voice was already fucked before that, and I was screaming, and there was a pirate battle, so sorry, but we're going to do our best. This is my friend Samek. Say hi, Samek.
Hello.
We're going to tell you about our spiritual learnings and updates on our emotional journeys this week. And we have an experiment every week. And the experiment this week is the question, how much can I enjoy Samek's presence? And for Samek, how much can he enjoy my presence? And for you, how much can you enjoy our presence? And maybe even your own.
Dang.
Let's get into it. Samek, who's going first?
I'll ask you because I don't know what's been going on. It's summer camp and I'm excited to hear about it. What's been happening for you in the last week? I feel like, especially like being in, I remember you telling me that like it felt like coming home when you got there, and I want to hear more about that and how that's unfolded.
I think the home thing was actually Earth Dance, but maybe I said that about here. That's interesting. But what's going on? All right, day one was rough. So I'm a camp counselor. I'm just a regular camp counselor. Most other camp counselors are like 17, 18, 19, 20. I'm 25. But really, I was just anxious about not belonging. And my age was a very easy thing to project that onto. I think also I had a bunch of ideas, as you maybe heard in the last podcast, about like romance and sexuality and just getting here. And I knew this was going to happen, but getting here and being like, oh, wait, like these people are way younger than me. Like, oh my God. I think that kind of hit me. So yeah, day one was rough, really feeling like I don't belong. And, also a bunch of the counselors have been going here for 9 or 10 years, and they've been friends for 9 or 10 years. So you're walking into a situation where you feel like everyone knows each other except you, even though there are other new people. So that first night, I couldn't sleep. I'm freaking out. I'm like, I'm never going to get 10 hours of sleep here, which is what I like to get. I'm not going to eat the food I want to eat. My back hurts. I need new glasses. I'm not wearing my glasses because I don't like how they look. I have all these bug bites, blah, 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 blah. And so I went to my car and I called my friend. But yeah, I went to my car, called my friend, and just cried like I was 4. Like, I cry a lot. I love crying. But that was really like, I'm overwhelmed. School was awful and scary. And I just got home and just like saw my mom, and I just like turned into a puddle. And so yeah, I was like actually freaking out, and that actually rocked. And it reminded me of, a small version of the thing Daniel Thorson talks about, which is having the most breakthrough from breaking down, from like when your systems fail. And so being here, there's so many systems I normally have that are now out the window. And so it's like, now what happens? I was like, wait, what? I'm still like totally fine, even though I'm tired and itchy and sweaty and hot and bored and confused and anxious and don't feel like I don't belong. And I'll pause there.
Yeah, the thing that comes up for me when you share that is I think I misunderstood the being home bit when you shared it initially. And when you share it like that, or this time around, what comes up for me is like what I imagine happened with me when I came back from the Zen retreat. Because like at the Zen retreat, everyone knew each other and had been doing retreats like, I don't know, more than 10, more than 20 in that like Sangha, and everyone knew each other and knew the rules, and I didn't, and I felt like I didn't belong, and I was scared, and I was like outside the container. And I got back and I had my first view conversation coming back from retreat with someone from masterclass who was my, not masterclass, old students. she was my partner for the month. And I came back, and the first conversation we had, I was just sobbing for 20 minutes because we had a view conversation. I'm like, oh my God, this feels so good. And I feel so not alone. And for those 7 days, I felt so alone because I would try to make eye contact and no one would look at me. And the last day, like some dude blew up at me. It was like, oh my God, I felt so violated that every time he tried to make eye contact with me. And I was like, feeling so alone in it because I was alone in it because I didn't know the fucking culture, and like I didn't feel home and I didn't feel connection with the people there in the same way that I was used to. And then coming back and having done AOA work for the year and just connecting with eye contact, I'm like, oh my God. And having someone who's done view for like a year, or like having done, like I have done view conversation with them for a month, like just going back into that, I sobbed straight for 20 minutes about like, oh my God, I felt like I was 4 years old coming back to my mom and being like, oh my God, I'm home. This is okay.
Yeah. And the feeling there is just like, that was so scary. I never want to do that again.
Yeah.
But then I like cry for 15 minutes and like, okay, actually it's fine.
Same. Yeah.
Can you ask me another question?
Yeah, and then what happened? How did it change? Because it sounds like you're having a lot of fun now, especially like moving into last night. So
yeah, there's the ego thing, which is it's a classic. It hurts. I hate this one, and I said it last time too. But it's like I'm being myself, and being myself is getting rewarded so fucking strongly, and there's just nothing for my ego to win at. When like literally last night, me and 3 other people were doing improv about a popsicle stick, and sometimes there's jokes on a popsicle stick and there's no joke on it. So I just kept on handing it to people and be like, can you read the joke on it? And they'd look at it and they'd be like, there's no joke. And then I'd be like, no, can you read it? And then they'd like make up a joke. And so like people popped in and out, but 4 of us did that 2 hours, and it was insane. And then there's like a ritual, and then we fell in love with it, and then we had a conflict mediation, and then we had a grief ritual. It was crazy, and that rocked like exactly why I'm here. And I didn't win, and it hurts. It hurts that I didn't win. Like that was, yeah. So it's just the difference between like safety and acceptance and love and connection, and like winning or control or domination. And so it's like the helplessness and letting go of the winning and the control and the domination, and the like noticing from my body or the environment or the people around me that there's just like connection over and over. Like literally earlier today, I was sitting on my phone, and like I was literally sitting on my phone in my bed in the bunk, and like 3 people, someone was like, Harry, you seem like you could like steal a Kia. And then someone else was like, Harry, I feel like you're probably like really good at a ton of shit. I was like literally still sitting on my phone, and people just started like saying nice things about me. And it's just like, bro, can you give me a chance to like dominate something so that I can prove to myself that I need to earn love instead of just giving it to me? So yeah, I guess it's you could say letting it in without needing to earn it, but right now it's more just right now really what I'm in is the confusion of receiving it without having to earn it, and then being like, what's happening? This is really confusing to my ego.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so beautiful. Anything else there for you?
I'm almost like, I think there's a little bit of like self-judgment in this, but I'm almost mad because like there's been at least a few times where like I've gone crazy. I mean, that story I just told, absolutely one of them. Like I'm locked in, like I'm popping off. And so I guess I'm sad. There's like sadness and heartbreak that like I don't feel like I'm appreciating myself to the degree to which I'm actually showing up. Like I'm fucking showing up, and I'm sad that I'm not fully clearly seeing how much I'm showing up.
Sounds like you are though.
I think I am. Oh, like I think right now I am appreciating it.
Okay.
Yeah. Bang. Anything else on that before we switch?
No, and I'm gonna say Harry's internet's a little wonky, and that's okay.
L. Um. I. What? Yeah. Just what have you been learning this week?
So much. So much. So much. Oh my god. We were in the podcast last week, but my cat passed away last Saturday. So I was fucking wiped, like complete and utterly wiped for the entirety of last week. And it was a level of, given the level of sensitivity I had and my willingness to embrace intensity, it was like the amount of heartbreak I felt that week was really like intense. And there's like the thing that is said. I remember when I was taking masterclass last year, which is like at every moment there's a heartbreak that you can embrace, and I've never felt that so clearly as last week, which was, as at the beginning it was like really big heartbreaks. Like I would like my heart would break and I would sob for like hours, or my heart would break and I would feel helpless for hours. My heart would break and I'd be like really angry for hours. So one thing that I started noticing is like the heart breaks into love, and love has many forms. It's like all the emotions. So heartbreak isn't like it breaks into tears. Like it broke into laughter, it broke into tears, it broke into anger, it broke into helplessness, it broke into like absolute terror and fear. My heart broke into so many different emotions, and there was so much color in it. And like love and grief are two sides of the same coin. So it was like I felt so much love for my cat and so much grief, and the heart broke into all of it, and it was so beautiful. And there's so much clarity in terms of like, oh, there's always a little bit of a heartache about something if I'm in my heart. And if I'm with the heartache, if I look at the heartache, my heart gets to break, and it breaks into something. And I had I had a lot of heartbreak last week, but that's like continuous. Like I get this heartbreak forever, and my heart gets to ache about so many different things, not just about my cat, but about my past, about the love, like the parts of me that didn't get love or weren't touched by love, the sorrows of the world, the people that are suffering, that projections of my own suffering that I get to see more clearly. There's like heartbreak and not heartbreak, but heartache everywhere. And if I'm able to be with the heartache, which my capacity for is increased by a shit ton over the last week, my heart gets to break so many more beautiful ways. And with that comes so much more joy into my life. So that's been like the major thing. And then from that, like over the last 2-3 days, it's been like orgasmic pleasure, but like the ones where like I wish I like, it was like part of me is really fighting against feeling it, because it comes up in odd situations where it's like, oh my god, I feel so much pleasure. Oh my god, this is really intense. Oh my god, I feel so helpless that I can't stop it. So that's been like another experience. And there's like such a big contrast between the head that wants to control, dominate, divide, uh, to fix, versus my heart and my gut, which feels so different. Like my gut feels so playful and my heart feels so loving. And but also the loving can be painful because it also stores like the resistance and stuff. And those parts of me are so distinct, were so distinct, at least last week, that like it does feel like different parts of me that kind of need a channel. to communicate through and in between. So it's been more attunement. Like I've been sitting there attuning so that my head knows what's going on with my gut and my heart knows what's going on with the gut, and my heart knows what's going on with the head. Because when there is like no communication between those channels, like I was having this weird ass fucking experience where I was like bawling, absolutely bawling about my cat. And my head was like, okay, so like, this is what we're going to do about our career. Like, this is our plan. This is how we're going to set it up. This is who we're going to contact. This is how we're going to do things. And I'm just bawling. And I'm like, my gut's like, shut the fuck up, head. Oh my God, please shut up. Let me just cry. But the head wasn't like talking to the heart. So just didn't have that context and awareness. So seeing that more and more, it's like, oh, there is like different parts of me. And if they're not talking, if they're not attuned to each other, there's this divide and fight that happens in my system that makes life really difficult. So I've been like sitting more with that. And that's been like a big, I wouldn't say insight, but just a new pendulation of, oh, right now I'm very not aligned, there's no like cohesion because the different parts of me are not talking, versus when they are, and it's like, okay, my heart knows that my head is scared about my future, and my head knows that my heart wants to grieve right now, and they can come up with an agreement. It's like, okay, let's feel the fear later, let's be with the grief right now, and my head is like okay with that. And then it's like, okay, then I just get to grieve, and there's no tension in my head while I'm grieving. And the same with like, oh, then I just get to feel the fear, and I get to figure or like be with what my future will look like while not being with the heartache of my cat. So there's like this attunement piece that's like coming in more clearly. And then with that, there is less and less, like I would say less and less spin about single individual things.
I want to go to the first thing on the heartbreak, because we talked about death last week and how that like makes the present feel more solid and present and precious.
Yeah.
And I feel like heartbreak is such a similar thing and does such a similar thing to the presence. And we did an activity here called Core Stories, which, what are the 5 stories that make you who you are, and share for 15 minutes. And someone actually reflected back to me like, oh, like the theme of your stories seem to be like enjoy and heartbreak. And I was like, oh, that fucking rocks. And I feel like also the thing I was just saying to you at the start of this podcast was like, and feeling the heartbreak of not appreciating myself as much as I wanted to. And like that bringing me back to myself. And before I came to the summer camp, I was at my parents' house for 5 days, and there was like this huge sense of stagnation. But leaving the place I was at before, this beautiful community, Earth Dance, and being here, and when I feel the heartbreak, I mean, that's really what it is. When I feel the heartbreak, there's this sense of everything being so precious and everything being only once. And like, this summer's never going to happen again. These kids are never going to come this summer at this age again. We're never going to record this podcast again. And just like how short time is, like, we don't know. There's going to be a last podcast, and we don't know which one it is. There's going to be a last time we talk to each other. We don't know what it is, et cetera, et cetera. And yeah, feeling that heartbreak, I mean, I just fucking love it. And it just brings the preciousness right here. And that just opens up so much for me.
Yeah. Even like, I love the experiment taking enjoyment of you as you share that. It's like, as I'm taking enjoyment, there's like a heartbreak every moment. It's like, oh, I'm never going to be able to experience this again.
Yeah.
And it's like continuous. It's like this continuous heartbreak. And there's so much pleasure in it. Because it like breaks into so many emotions, and it just like sensations flowing.
Mm-hmm. Oh. Yeah, the image I just got was like the heartbreak shattering into stained glass windows.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
else is here for you? What else is alive here for you?
There's like the thing of like, Tara always says this, which is you can't have your yeses until you can have your no's.
Bang.
And I've been sitting with that because I have a really hard time with my no's because the heartbreak feels so big whenever there is a no in my system, where it's like, no, I really, like, a part of me really wants it, but my system is a no. And it's like, fuck. But then there's a heartbreak in that like I resist. And then it like makes everything really messy. But then I'm like seeing like, oh, if the heartbreak is pleasurable, if the no is beautiful, and then having the no's, it's like, oh, that no broke my heart. It's like, oh man, I'm so sad that I don't get to hang out with Harry at Earth Dance. And having that no, it's like, okay, then I feel even more excited for the yeses that do come along.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh, I wonder what will be a yes where I get to hang out with Harry and live with Harry in the future. Instead of like, fuck, I'm kind of, it's like a no in my system, but I'm not letting myself fully have the no and the heartbreak. So then there's like obligation and resistance and like all this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, with the heartbreak being something I get to love, then there's more excitement for the yeses that come into my life. And there's even excitement for the no's. Then it's like, oh, I wonder what I will be doing in that time.
What was found in
For me, a big thing here has been like, it's the same shit, dude, but it's like, it's so obvious to me that I could just like slightly control myself. Like, oh, I could just initiate a conversation with this person so I like don't feel anxious right now. When like what the aligned thing feels like, actually, I'm just gonna like sit next to this person at the dinner table and like feel awkward and anxious and be with myself, and I don't actually want to say anything. And it pisses me off. But also, like I was saying, with being at my parents' house and that sense of stagnation and obligation and resistance, like you said, when I do the thing I know works, really what I'm doing is saying, I know what's gonna happen, and I'm just gonna play the role so that I can make the good thing happen. But a banger I've heard Joe Hudson say is that is death. And not in the good way we talk about death. That's death as in no movement. That's death as in, yeah, that's death as in no movement, complete constriction. There's no life in that. Playing out something exactly how I think it's going to go. There's no life in that. And so that's what comes up for me when to have your yeses, your no's, like when I'm actually listening to myself. And Joe Hudson says like, well, whatever. I'm just going to say there's a sense in which being in that obligation is actual death, like constricting yourself to should. And now I'm doing everything exactly right. And I know everything I'm going to do, and I know everything that's going to happen as a result of that. There's no life in that. There's no unpredictability. There's no chaos. There's no surprise. There's no life in that.
Yeah.
And so that's just me connecting to, in order to have your yes, you have to have your no. Like, in order for something actually interesting to happen for me, I need to be listening to myself and doing what I actually want to do, because otherwise I'm trying to get a certain outcome. I'm trying to play a certain role that's not me to have a certain thing happen, which even if it does work, I'm literally just like playing out. It's fantasy is not the right word, but it's like I'm just like solving a math equation. Like, yeah,
that like aligns so easy, like so exactly, like that like puzzle piece is exactly the shape of like me saying yes to Earth Dance to you. Because like the piece of me that wants to go to Earth Dance is like, oh, it's awesome. There's community. There's this. There's that. There's like the 500 things are like, if I show up, I'm gonna get all the things Harry got, and I'm gonna be awesome, and this is gonna happen. I also get to hang out with Harry. Oh my god, blah 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 blah. And my gut's like, no. Yeah, it checks all the boxes, but my gut is like, no. And I'm like, but you're wrong. You're wrong, because we're gonna get all of this from it, and life is gonna be awesome, and we're gonna win.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think this
Yeah.
goes back to like the piece of inherent goodness of like, if you trust that you are inherently good, then you trust your yeses and nos to take you in that direction of growth that your body naturally wants to move towards.
Yeah. And that's scary because like, wait, Harry's offering me Earth Dance, which checks literally every single box I can check in my head. Why is my gut not saying yes to that? You want me to do this other thing that I intellectually see way less value in?
Yes.
Like, what?
What the fuck, bro? What the fuck? It pisses
And one
me
thing
off.
that just came up is like, Joe Hudson will talk about like the head always coming last, like it being integrated in your heart and your gut and your emotions and your nervous system first, and then your head is always last. It always catches up last. So from that perspective, by the fact that you see very clear value in something, you've probably already integrated that kind of value into your life in many ways. So it's almost like from that perspective, the next step should always be your head being like, what are you doing, dude? What are you doing, dude? And your heart and or your gut are like, nah, this is the next step. Trust me, bro. And both at Earth Dance and here, literally walking up here, I was thinking about how exactly that. My head is like, what is going on? And my heart and my gut and my body just keep on taking the next step over and over and over. And it is just like
one step at a time.
But it is so clearly following this pull, following this gravitational pull. It's like, I'm like, oh yeah, it totally feels like I'm actually confident my body is stepping in the right direction in all of these moments. And my head does not see how it makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had this quitting my job. I had this signing up for masterclass because I signed up for masterclass having not taken connection course or like really knowing shit about AOA except like 2 or 3 podcasts. I was like, what the fuck am I doing? What the fuck is happening? And I'm in it and I'm like growing. And it's every time I've done it, it's resulted in so much growth. And my head is always like, oh, that was it. But like after a few weeks or months after that decision is made, it's beautiful.
I didn't understand you there. So, yeah, can you tell me more? You were saying like, wait, yeah, can you just tell me more?
Oh yeah, so like I feel like the growth, what you said, right? An example of like my head didn't know why I was signing up for masterclass last year until like 2 or 3 weeks into masterclass.
Got it.
And it's been that like same with like quitting my job. It's like I quit, like fully quit. Like my body was fully quit and my head was still like, why am I quitting all of these benefits? And I left a job that was paying me like $300,000 a year. And I just got promoted and I was like, fucking like, oh, I made it. Life is set. And my body's like, let's quit. Now my head's like, fuck no, dude. What are you doing? You're fucking stupid. And then I was like, I guess I'm quitting now. I'm noticing it happen over and over again. And it's always like my head is always fighting because it's not attuned to my heart and my gut. So now it's like the next step is attuning my head to my heart and my gut. So it's not fighting because I don't want that internal fight.
Bang. Anything else on this one for you, sir?
No. Well, you were gonna say something, but I cut
I
you
was just gonna make a joke, which is if you're me and Samek's age, if you're in your mid-20s and you're worried about not having enough money, just know that Samek also worries about not having enough money, and he probably has more money than you. And I'm gonna brag a little bit. I'm not that worried about not having enough money, and I probably have less money than you, whoever's listening. That's what I think.
Probably. Yes. Exactly that. Money can't save you. Money can't save you.
Oh, those Art of Accomplishment episodes are hype as fuck.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna go back to you. It's a question. How has love changed for you?
How has love changed for me, right?
Yeah.
What it looks like now is leaning back and into back floating in a lake. That's what love looks like. Let's say what it looked like 2 months ago. It looked more like more like you're like quietly hiking barefoot, and it's just like I'm just gonna keep going. Like, I'm just gonna keep walking. And so what's the new emphasis? The old emphasis is like I'm going to trust myself and my body and keep taking steps. The new emphasis is like I don't know what reality is, but it's got me.
It's got you.
I don't know what's happening, but it's got me.
Yeah, it makes me think of like faith in God,
Yeah.
but like in its own way.
Yeah. Right now, in this moment, like faith in reality resonates. Like, yeah, faith in reality resonates.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh. What's the dimensions? I'd say like I like the question I asked last week. In addition to that, it's like, what's the growth edge that your wants are moving you towards?
Mm-hmm. Being so dumb.
Did you say dumb or done?
Dumb, D-U-M-B, dumb, stupid. That's the main one. But you could also, there's like I would say being super dumb and not talking when I don't want to talk, or like not forcing myself to talk, or being as quiet as I want to be. The being dumb one, there's this other counselor here, Rowan. I love him. He's so fucking funny. And that man just says everything that goes through his head, and it's beautiful. And he really inspires me. And, I love talking to Samek about this shit and being smart and competent about it, and talking to other people who care about this stuff and being smart and competent about it. But the people around me mostly don't talk about this shit. And so, again, there's like a death of ego there. That's like a death of identity there. That's like, I have all of this intelligence and knowledge and competence, but it's not explicitly relevant to the people around me. And so I think people even do and are appreciating it about me the way it's embodied in me. But like most people here aren't interested in me proving my elite emotional explanations to them in order for me to prove to them that I'm valuable. I guess most people aren't going to let me do that to them here. And so there's a death in that, and with that there's like a freedom to just be dumb and stupid, which I was thinking about yesterday, and it's how the popsicle stick thing started. And like now I when I sit at meals sometimes to the person next to me, like whether I know them or not, I just go like, yo, what's the vibe? They go, what? I go, what's the vibe? And they go, what? The vibe of what? I go, what's the vibe? And then they say whatever they say to that. So that's being dumb. And then there's not speaking as much as I don't want to speak, which is, like I said before, the easiest way for me to force myself to be someone other than myself in a way that like I think will pay off is like speak when I feel anxious or awkward or don't want to speak. And sometimes I feel anxious and awkward and I do want to speak, and I do, but a lot of times I just want to sit there, and that's pretty vulnerable for me. Yeah, that's pretty vulnerable for me. It gives me this shame and anxiety that's like, just fucking speak, dude. Just fucking reach out. Just fucking do it. Just fucking do it. Just jump in the deep end. I was like so committed to not just jumping in the deep end. Yeah.
Dang. Anything else?
Just extending off that, being so committed to not jumping off the deep end, being so committed to not controlling and to getting what I want. One of the themes that I semi-consciously brought into that improv game with the popsicle stick last night, and that I've been thinking about here, is like, oh, it's increasingly obvious that I like can control myself and to some extent other people into getting a version of what I want. And it's like to like me or to talk to me or to like laugh at what I say or to like look at me or to hang out with me, blah, blah, blah. But like the thing I actually want, which we could call unconditional love, there's nothing I can fucking do to get it, which is super fucking dumb. There's nothing I can do to earn it. And for me, it relates to the idea, by Joe Hudson, that's like a relationship or a business opportunity takes the same amount to start as it does to retain. And so it's like, and I definitely think of one specific ex-girlfriend I had, like if I needed to convince you to start dating me, I'm going to need to continually convince you to keep dating me. It kind of fucking sucks to continually convince someone to keep on spending time with you. So I'm just like, any piece of like convincing, I'm just like, no.
Yeah. It's so scary. I'm just feeling helpless right now.
Yeah. There's a lot of helplessness in that. There's a lot of helplessness in that. And like the middle school parallel is like, and when I was a camper at summer camp, it's like, okay, I can try and then I can hang out with the cool kids, or I can not try and hang out with like the nerdy kids. And I like it more and I have better conversations and I feel more connected and I actually want to talk to them more and I'm more myself. And it's like, what's the fucking trade-off? It's like, I don't fucking know. What's the like? I don't feel like I'm
to
winning.
Win, dude. Yeah, you don't get to win. It's all back to the winning thing.
But and it's the other part of that that's interesting to me is like, I think normally people would say my head's trying to win, but I'm like, gut, what's the vibe? It's like, let go. Heart, what's the vibe? Love. Head, what's the vibe? Let go. And I'm like, where is the part of me that wants to win? I would say like maybe my shoulders. Yeah, shoulders, what's up? We're gonna fucking win. Yeah, it's just I feel it gnawing, but maybe it feels like it's starving out or something or fasting, but it doesn't even feel like my head. It just feels like this like impulse kicking.
So beautiful.
Oh, anything else here, sir? Sweet. I'm gonna hit you. Last question. I'm gonna hit you with where are you feeling stuck?
I feel like I'm falling faster than I can grab, like hold on to. So I don't know. It's like if I'm feeling stuck today, like I won't be stuck tomorrow. Like there's a level of stuckness in the amount of pleasure that's like there in life, because the helplessness is terrifying. It's because Harry's saying like, oh my god, there's so much love from the people around me, and I'm like in my apartment by myself, and I'm like, fuck, why is there so much love just and pleasure just in my body? And if I go hang out with someone, I'm like having a conversation with them, and I'm just like falling in love with them, and it's a fucking stranger. And I'm like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I'm doing the head thing of like, no, I'm gonna go crazy, but it's all just an avoidance of the helplessness. It feels
and the pleasure, it sounds like.
Yeah, and the pleasure. There's an avoidance of the helplessness and the pleasure, which is easier to be with when I'm with people. So I've been doing this every call I'm in, which is how much pleasure can I take from the other person? And then I'm just like having an intense experience while I'm talking to them. And I have that just hanging out. But there's so much helplessness in it because what makes it so helpless? It's my ego is like trying to get somewhere. It's trying to win. I would say like there's this part of me that wants to win, that wants to have control, that wants to like, you know, win is like the best word for it. Like I'm just trying to win. Like some part of me, a lot of parts of me are trying to win, and it's seeing that like, oh, there is no winning. There's just love here, and then it's like not wanting to let go of that strategy that I had for such a long time of trying to win and trying to control. So I don't know. I started the masterclass with this, which is like, oh, what I want to do in masterclass is surrender, like fully surrender. And I have a lot of pleasure anxiety. And then I had like last week of like an intense amount of heartbreak. And now I'm back on there's an intense amount of pleasure and I want to surrender to it. Like it's the same thing. And there's not really a stuckness to it. There's more so a pendulation of like, there's times where I do and there's times where I don't. And I'm noticing how painful it is when I don't and how pleasurable it is when I do surrender. And there's this back and forth, going back and forth. And that's learning. And I'm also surrendering into the pendulation.
Anything else there for you, sir?
No, I think I feel good.
Me too.
Yeah. End it off. Plug in the Attunement residency.
All right, everybody. If you're like, oh my God, Harry and Samek are so cool. I wish I could go to Portland, Oregon on September 8th through 14th and do 4 hours of relational meditation of them for a week straight. That's you, if that's what you were just thinking. And go to harryandsamek.com because we're running the Attunement residency. And you'll learn more about it there. The website's fire.
harryandsamek.com. And we have a few people who already registered. We only have 6 slots. And we already got like 3 or 4 people. So there's not that many spots open.
There's only 2 spots left, possibly. Whoa.
And I would say like price-wise, it's like a killer deal. $1,000 all inclusive for 7 days for a retreat. Oh my God.
That's pretty fucking crazy. That's all I'm saying. All right, Samek, take us out.
Thank you everyone for watching. We'll continue doing this for as long as we enjoy it.
That is our promise to you. We love you. Feel the heartbreak. Let it in. Have a good day.
Bang.